I know that sometimes you question your own goodness. Maybe you're constantly wondering if you're enough. Are you kind enough? Are you worthy enough? Are you good enough? And maybe you are afraid that people are going to see through a facade that you've created, and when they see through it, they're going to reject you. Now, you are not alone in experiencing these feelings, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can really peel away these layers of doubt and insecurity and reveal your true self, which is a divine golden light. Hello, my friend. I'm Charlotte. I'm a crystal healing therapist, and my mission is to help you connect with the power of the mineral kingdom so that you can awaken your inner potential for healing, love, and transformation. One of the stories that has been the most influential on my spiritual journey is the story of the Golden Buddha. Now, this is a story set in Siam in the 1700s. And there was a beautiful solid gold statue of a Buddha in a monastery. But the area the monastery was in faced invasion. So the monks decided that they would cover up the golden statue with clay and therefore make sure that it didn't seem like something worth stealing. So they did that, and then the invaders came, and it was quite a violent situation. And unfortunately, the monks that covered up the statue were killed. And also the invasion lasted a very long time. And so the golden statue within the clay was forgotten. And then a couple of hundred years later, there were some other monks who were going to move the statue from one place to another. And in the process of moving the statue, one of the bits of clay chipped off and a golden flash was seen from within. So they started taking all the clay off and realized there was this incredible golden statue within. And this story has become a beloved metaphor that teaches us a really profound lesson about our true nature, because we're all born as gold, as radiant, divine beings, but we forget who we really are, and we build up this clay covering over our lifetimes. And what does the clay stand for? Well, it stands for limiting beliefs. It stands for emotional blockages. It stands for societal conditioning. These are all things that accumulate as we move through life and obscure this radiant nature that we have within. And when we start to realize that we've been doing this, we've been accumulating this density around us, we get to start to see that little beautiful chink of golden light. And we start to get to peel off the layers of clay. And this is what allows us to come back into unity and harmony with this true nature that's within us all. So just as an example from my own experience, a limiting belief that I know that I accumulated was about not being safe to kind of shine my light. Not being able to express my talents. And it partly became an issue because when I was young, I remember I was really good at art. And I just was naturally able to create things that would always be received very well by my teachers. And I had a friend who, she also loved art, but it wasn't easy for her to do it. And she sometimes would really try hard and she wouldn't get the grades that came to me just naturally, because it was just a natural gift that I had. And I remember my friend crying and being so upset and hurt that there was this disparity. And I was very overwhelmed by the experience of apparently sort of hurting someone by being good, by having a natural ability. And so I ended up internalizing the feeling that it's not okay for me to just have a natural gift and express myself, because it's going to hurt other people. It's going to make other people feel less. It's going to dampen their experience. And this leads to all kinds of different self-sabotage behaviors, playing small and so on. And it wasn't until I started to understand, actually, this is a layer of clay that I have built around myself that has come from a false belief, because I didn't realize it's not my responsibility how somebody else feels and responds in relation to my natural gifts. That is not my it's not my duty, it's not my responsibility. And actually, when I play small, and when you play small, of course, we're actually depriving the world of something beautiful and wonderful. So, it's a layer of clay, and once you start to recognize it, you get to chip it off. Okay? And then the social conditioning. We all build layers of density around us based on the things that society expects of us. So, as another example, I grew up in a very academic environment, and I spent a very long time in higher education. And what that did was created an expectation and a belief that intellectual knowledge and academic knowledge was the best and the most important kind of knowledge, at the expense of other ways of knowing, other ways of being, other ways of understanding the world. And so I didn't feel that I could pursue my extrasensory capacity, my psychic abilities, my energy work, without feeling like it was something to kind of rationalize or justify. And that prevented me from expressing my true self until, again, I realized, no, this is a layer of clay I have built up around myself. And it's time now to start to chip that away. And it's very difficult because you've built your whole worldview around a certain position, a certain paradigm, a certain perspective. And it's not allowing that true radiance to come to shine, to come to the surface. So when I started to peel that back, I was able to step into my authentic self. And now I get to work with people with crystals, with energy, and to really occupy a way of knowing and being that feels so much more aligned with my soul, with my higher self, with my true purpose. And that's really why I'm here. But it wouldn't have happened if I wasn't able to peel all of those layers of social conditioning off. Emotional blockages can be layers of clay as well. Maybe you have been hurt in a relationship in the past, and that's caused you to build up emotional walls. And then you are unable to express yourself authentically. Maybe you start to withdraw. Maybe you don't feel like you can create authentic relationships. And again, this leads to self-sabotage and harming yourself in ways that aren't really necessary, but it's because you're not able to see the true self within without the layers of density that have been built up around you. So maybe this is something that you can really relate to. You've got these layers of clay around you. Maybe in your mind, you can accept that there's something golden inside, but how do you actually start to really feel that? How do you really connect with that? How do you start letting these layers fall away? Now, one part of the story that I think is really important is the moment where the monks decide to move the statue from one place to another, because that was the catalyst for a chunk of clay to fall off. And it might be that there's some moment in your life, maybe you're going through it now, where you know that you need to shift from here to here. You need something to kind of shake you, to move you so that this process starts to happen. And maybe it's uncomfortable, maybe it is because you know that something needs to change, but actually it's a brilliant thing, this catalytic moment where you start to realize, no, I am being given the opportunity to see that chink of light. It's always been within me. That's my divine birthright. I was born as gold, and it's just been obscured. This means you don't have to go out and seek it. You don't have to become good. You don't have to change anything about you in a fundamental sense. All you have to do is work towards revealing the truth that's already within you. Now, for me, crystal healing and working with the mineral kingdom is an extremely powerful way of working through these layers of mud and releasing the energetic and mental blockages that are obscuring this beautiful golden light within us. And the way that you relate to crystals is completely unique to you. But as an example, let's say we're working with a crystal like clear quartz. This is an incredible beauty. Clear quartz can really help us to dissolve any kind of energetic blockage within our system, whether it's a thought form, something that's stuck in the mental layer of the aura, whether it is a belief, an emotional block, whether it is a lack of clarity about your spiritual purpose. It's a crystal that helps us to dissolve and clear our system to get great clarity. And so when it's not always obvious what's going on with you, you can get more insights by working with a crystal like quartz, but it can also just help to clear energy, even if you don't know what it is that you actually need to let go of. Then let's say, with the example I gave earlier about not feeling like it's okay for me to shine my light because it's going to diminish somebody else's light, it's going to hurt someone, it's going to make someone upset, it's going to, traumatize them in some way if I'm naturally gifted and they are not. Now, a stone like citrine can be really helpful in that kind of case because citrine is like aligned with the frequency of confidence and empowerment and optimism and joy. And it's an energy that can really help you to step into the spotlight and express yourself and do that in a way that's filled with light and joy. I'm not saying that you just hold a citrine and all of these things release. Of course, you do inner work and you allow these things to come to your awareness. But the crystals are an amazing tool to help you to do that. Or let's say there's another example where I was very stuck in a kind of academic, intellectual paradigm, and I wasn't able to really let my intuition and my psychic abilities come to the fore. Now, in that kind of case, I can work with a stone like labradorite. This is a beautiful piece of labradorite. This is known as a stone of magic, right? This is a stone that helps us to tune in with our psychic abilities, to let our intuition guide us more. And even just coming into contact with a stone like this and contemplating the possibility that it could help to relate to the world in a different way, to know things about the world in a different way, to understand yourself in a different way. Just that can be very powerful. And so relating with these objects, these magical minerals, can actually be a really powerful and effective part of the process of letting this dense clay fall away so that this radiant inner gold can be revealed. So through a consistent practice with crystals, much like that patient work of chipping off the clay, we get to work through all of the layers of the self that are obscuring that divine light that lies within. And with every layer that we peel away, you get closer and closer to that true, authentic self. And it's such a comfort to know that this is who you really are. In those moments where you get triggered, you do question, am I a good person? Am I going to be found out? Will I be rejected? To have internalized the knowledge that your true self is radiant gold, is a lifeline. What helps you overcome what feels difficult is the knowledge of this truth, of this golden light that is who you really are. One thing that I found really helpful to just consolidate this idea, because sometimes, okay, it's hard. It's not always easy to feel connected to this golden radiant inner self, right? And what I do in those moments is I say, may all beings awaken and be free. Okay? And this phrase helps me to feel connected with the frequency of love that I know is encoded within that gold, that inner gold. And so it just triggers a feeling of belief in the inner goodness. And that is something that maybe can help you because it allows you to believe in yourself and the way in which you want goodness and freedom and awakening for other people. And it actually loops back to you in a process of quantum entanglement. So I hope that's helped you, and I would love to deepen the conversation around this principle, the story of the Golden Buddha. So if you have any responses or thoughts about it, please do comment below. I love to have a conversation with you. And if you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and I would be really grateful if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps me to grow and to make more content like this. And I'm sending so much love and so many blessings, and I'll see you in the next video.